Now, Gerald Celente, as the proprietor and editor of Trends Journal, makes a living out of being right. And for the most part, everything that his Trends Journal predicts comes true. And therefore, it's exceedingly important that you listen to what I'm about to say next. Gerald is giving Moats viewers a special discount, 10%, and our show, gets 50% of the profits. That is very, very important. So please, don't leave the show tonight without subscribing to Gerald Celente's Trends Journal. In any case, I have learned more from this man about American politics than virtually anybody else. I mean, in my lifetime. This man is a genius. He's Gerald Celente, and he joins us now in a no doubt New York state of mind. Gerald, welcome to the show again. I only read the first line of the Lincoln Project declaration that this is a great day for Putin. The fourth line describes Tulsi Gabbard as President Putin's girlfriend, which is pretty insulting to a serving American military officer, and now the new director of intelligence in the White House. I can only hope that she feeds Trump better intelligence than he's been getting over the Middle East so far.
Well, first of all, thank you very much for the kind words, and I very much appreciate it. And you mentioned Scott Ritter, and Scott Ritter is a good friend of mine. And there's nobody that I know that has gone through more torture from the government and others to stop him from speaking the truth and being for peace. This is a guy that proved that there were no weapons of mass destruction and ties to Al-Qaeda, one after another with the Iraq War. The FBI raids his house, and he keeps standing up and fighting. He's a real man that I honor very deeply. As for Tulsi Gabbard, she is very pro-Zionist. She speaks out of both sides of her mouth. And when you look at the Trump team, they're very pro-Zionist. Look at that little clown they got there, that Huckleberry, whatever his name is, the former governor of Arkansas. God told Abraham 3,500 years ago that this land belongs to the Jewish people. Hey, Katzon, what if I don't believe in your God? And what, has God got lockjaw? He only spoke to Abraham 3,500 years ago. Where's God now? How come he's not saying anything? And if you believe in that fairy tale, how about this one? Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's property. Oh, that's the 10 commandments of the Torah. Would you forget that one? But you keep stealing land everywhere? So no, this is going to be a horror story when it comes to Trump, as I see it, and what he's going to be doing to keep stealing that, quote, valuable waterfront property in Gaza. That was what his son-in-law, Jared Kushner, said back in February 15th, 2024. And we're going to create over there a Riviera. And as you mentioned, as I was listening to you, that clown, what's his king stuff? King of Jordan. Who believes in this king? Oh, I'm a king. I don't pee, I don't poo, I'm better than you. What's this king crap? How about a little dictator, all right? Oh, what about democracies? No, I'm the king. I'll tell you what to do. And I watched that video as he's blinking his eyes and afraid to say anything against Trump about stealing the Palestinian land and throwing the Gazans out. Where is the outrage? Oh, and then Trump says it's our authority to say what should be going on in Gaza. It's not my authority. I'm an American. Oh, what? This thing's been going on for how many thousands of years? That's what I feel about it.
Gerald, who advised them? Or did nobody say don't say this because there is simply no legal way in the whole world that you can declare that you now own Gaza. That's simply not possible. It couldn't even get in front of any court, never mind be decided by any court. This land is Palestinian land as a matter of law. It is illegally occupied, according to the highest courts in the world, by Israel. How does it segue into being American land? Did it become the 51st state or what?
No, Canada. Well, Trump said Canada's going to be the 51st state. That's after we take over the Panama Canal in Greenland. But going back to that, what legal? What are you talking about legal? How about these things they call settlements? As the Israelis keep stealing more and more Palestinian land in the West Bank. Well, in violation of the Geneva Convention and Article 242 of the United Nations? Now let's look at the Trump administration. Oh, when he was president? Oh, what did he got, $100 million from Sheldon Adelson? Oh, yeah, what did he do? Hey, we're moving the embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. Oh, in Israel, you know that land you stole from Syria? Hey, it's yours. Oh, what do you got? Another 100 million plus from Adelson's wife in running for his campaign? No, the whole country's taken over. It's and again, I don't want to hear this crap that if you come out against this, you're an anti-Semite. I heard you talking about Zionism. You know, it's not a religion. It's a support of that. Oh, and by the way, you talked about Netanyahu. You mean Milikowski, who changed his name? Or Ben-Gurion, who was green? They're not Semites. They're Ashkenazis. They're from Ukraine. They're from Russia. They're Eastern Europeans. Semites are Palestinians, people from the Mesopotamia region. And again, 3 of my last 4 girlfriends were Jewish. I'm not an anti-Semite. Every one of my Jewish friends, every one of them, 5, are totally opposed to what Israel is doing. So they're going to keep doing what they want to do because they're controlling the game. And Trump is going to keep pushing this further and further to take over Gaza as we see it. And the war is going to escalate. And we see no end in sight as he just sent another $7.3 billion in weapons to Israel, or 2,000-pound bombs to keep demolishing everything around. Oh, and how about Israel violating the ceasefire agreement in Lebanon? Oh, shut the hell up. You're not allowed to talk about that. Oh, what about what's Israel doing now in Syria? Bombs away all over the place. Oh, we could kill anybody we want, anywhere we want. So this is going to keep escalating under the Trump administration as we see it.
Sure, but you cannot own something if you don't control it. And the United States will eventually have to send its own soldiers there because Netanyahu failed to control it. Over 16 months, losing 10,000 casualties, causing hundreds of thousands of casualties, and creating a wave of revulsion around the whole world. He failed, had to leave. Now he says he's going back in. But he won't do any better going back in than he did before he left. So this is just hot air from Trump, because I don't think the American public are ready for Mogadishu 1993 every day in the Gaza imbroglio. How could they? Why would they?
You saw about the American public? They're more concerned that Taylor Swift, have sex last night. What are you talking about? Let's look at the polls, the exit polls from the election in November. 4%, the election polls, the people leaving, 4% of the people said global issues was a major concern that voted for Trump, and only 3% said global issues are a major concern of those who voted for Kamala Harris. The people don't have a clue what's going on. They could care less. They have no idea. And they'll do what they want. Look, How about a little clown boy with a pair of cojones smaller than a mothball, little Georgie Bush? We're going to get that guy Osama bin Laden dead or alive. 90% of the people swallow the crap spewing out of his mouth. America will do anything they want in any war. They just keep going on and on and on and on. And by the way, I talked about Scott Ritter. I launched a movement over a decade ago, Occupy Peace. I had major peace rallies. And Scott Ritter, Judge Napolitano were two of my speakers here in September. So people don't care about peace. And all these billionaires, not a penny for peace, not a penny for peace, all got lockjaw. I'm telling you, when all else fails, they take you to war. And Trump is going to support Netanyahu. They don't. They're going to. How about talking more about what we're going to do to Iran? Trump just put major sanctions on Iran, didn't he? This is the Trump that killed Soleimani when he was president, the Iranian commander. This is the Trump that took America off the agreement, the nuclear agreement with Iran. I'm telling you, they're going to ramp up this against Iran. And again, the people could care less. They'll follow their leader. They always do.
Well, let's look on the bright side. It does look like the war in Ukraine is on its last legs, at least. The Zelensky must be on suicide watch this evening, no?
I have to tell you, I'm positive on Trump on that. And I believe when Trump was president, if he was president back in February 24th, 2022, when the Ukraine war broke out, it would not have happened. So I'm positive on Trump on that. And I think it's going to end. They're going to stop supplying them. They're going to do something. They're going to cut a deal. But on the Israel side, a totally different story. Again, look at his cabinet. Look at all the people he brought in. Look at that clown, that Hegseth guy. One Zionist lover after another. And it hasn't changed under Biden. Biden called himself a Zionist. A Zionist little Anthony Blinken. So this on Israel, it's one story. On Ukraine, it's a different trip.
You're right. How are his ratings? Is he still going up, Donald Trump?
It's a guessing game at this time. He's not doing great, but the people really don't care. You know what they're caring about? The inflation numbers just came out today. That's what they're concerned about. I'm telling you, they have no clue about this. The prices are going up. Inflation's higher than they expected. And will the Fed lower interest rates? That's the mind of the media. About what's going on in Israel, they could care less. They could care less about the Palestinians. Where's the outrage of that whole place being bombed to ruins? Where is the outrage? Could you imagine if Gaza was Israel and the Arabs bombed it into ruins? Oh my God, how terrible. And they're only Palestinians. They don't count. So I'm telling you, his ratings don't make a difference at this time. And by the way, Trump is going to do everything he wants. There's nobody that ever passed more executive orders, has done more in a president in 3 weeks than Trump has done. This is going to be a dictatorship of the United States.
Well, let me finally ask you then. It's apparently imminent that we're going to know who killed JFK on that day in 1963. That made me cry. I can still feel the tears. We're going to know the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Are we?
No, they could probably redact it and they'll change it. By the way, I have a photograph of me and John Connolly, who was the governor of Texas, that took the bullet in the back.
In the front seat.
I have a photograph of me, him, and his wife in front of the book depository. Their first time back, 1992. Oh, wow. He wanted to meet me because in this book, Trend Tracking, that I wrote in 89, Far Better Than Megatrends, Time Magazine, I had forecast that Ross Perot would be the kind of person that the people wanted to run for office. So Connolly wanted to meet me. I'm making a very long story short. Again, their first time back since the assassination, I have the photo of me, him, and his wife in front of the book depository. As we're going back into the Anatole Hotel, he said to me, Gerald, I love your book. He said, you have a kind heart, and I know your mind is in the right place, but you don't have a clue what's going on. Remember, this is the guy that took the bullet in the back sitting in front of Kennedy. He said, if American people knew what was going on in this country, there'd be a revolution. This is the same John Connally, by the way, that became the Republican Treasury Secretary under Richard Nixon that took us off the gold standard. The government is nothing more than a crime syndicate. They steal our money, give it to the bigs, the banksters. They start wars, kill people. It's not about we the people. It's about the politicians. By the way, the cover of this week's Trends Journal magazine, it's politicians as zookeepers, and they treat us like animals in a cage.
Well, our poll is overwhelmingly damning them tonight. Are politicians in it to enrich themselves? Yes, say 98, 96, 98 and 98% of the voters. Gerald Celente, as always, and thanks for that extra bit of discount for Moats viewers. How do they now subscribe to the Trends Journal?
Well, they hit that link that you have there, and we give them a 10% discount, which costs them the grand total of $2.50 a week, nothing. And again, one of my top trends this year last year was a golden year for gold. Gold prices went up 25% last year, and now gold prices are up over $850 when we made that forecast. And we're giving people everything they can. They go to trendsjournal.com, trendsjournal.com. We're giving them history before it happens. Thank you so much for having me on. Thank you so much for all you do. And thank you for having Scott Ritter on.